Welcome back to the Lynn Market News. Today with us we have a very special guest, Cameron Lynn, here to talk to us about AT&T's second quarterly report. So Cameron, can you please tell us about AT&T's second quarter financial results?
For the quarter end June 30th, 2011, AT&T's consolidated revenues totaled $31.5 billion, up more than $608 million or 2.2% versus the year earlier quarter, marking the company's sixth consecutive quarter with a year-over-year revenue increase. Compared with results for the second quarter of 2010, AT&T's operating income margin was 19.6% compared to 19.7%, and operating expenses were $25.3 billion versus $24.7 billion. Also, operating income was $6.2 billion, up from $6.1 billion. Second quarter 2011 net income attributable to AT&T totaled $3.6 billion or 60 cents per diluted share. These results compare with reported net income attributable to AT&T of $4 billion or 67 cents per diluted share for 2010's second quarter. Earnings per share for the second quarter of 2011 matched earnings per share excluding the Telemex International transition in the year ago second quarter. Second quarter 2011 cash from operating activities totaled $9 billion and capital expenditures totaled $5.3 billion. Paired with the results for the first half of 2010, year to date through the second quarter, cash from operating activities totaled $16.8 billion versus $15.8 billion. Capital expenditures totaled $9.5 billion compared to $8.2 billion. And free cash flow totaled $7.3 billion versus $7.6 billion. Overall, AT&T had 9.5% growth in wireless revenues, with 7.4% increase in wireless service revenues as well.
So, would this be one of the strongest quarters AT&T has had for device sales?
It's been the strongest quarter for AT&T in device sales. AT&T had a record quarter with branded computing subscribers, a net growth area for the company including tablets, MiFi devices, air cards, tethering plans, and other data-only devices. AT&T added 545,000 of these devices to reach 4 million, nearly twice as many in service as a year ago. Most of those new subscribers were tablets, with 377,000 added in the quarter, of which 30% were postpaid. To sum it up, the best ever second quarter smartphone sales of 5.6 million, nearly 70% of total postpaid sales were smartphones for this quarter.
So Cameron, tell me, how are the sales holding up for AT&T's smartphones?
Well, good question, Chelsea. In the second quarter, 5.6 million smartphones were sold, a second quarter record and the third highest ever quarter for AT&T in history. Smartphone sales also increased more than 43% year over year. Sales of non-iPhone smartphones more than doubled year over year. Nearly 70% of postpaid device sales were smartphones. During the quarter, 3.6 million iPhones were activated. At the end of the quarter, 49.9% of AT&T's 68.4 million postpaid subscribers had smartphones, up from 35.8% a year earlier. The average ARPU of smartphones on AT&T's network is 1.8 times that of the company's non-smartphone devices. More than 85% of smartphone subscribers are on Family Talk or business plans. Still, iPhone activations remain strong at 3.6 million, with 24% of subscribers new to AT&T. iPhone subscribers churned down slightly sequentially though. Sales of Android and other smartphones doubled year over year, more than 40% of smartphone sales in this quarter.
So, could you tell me how the growth for wireline revenues is in households?
Well, the wireline revenues per household served increased 5.2%, versus the year earlier second quarter and were up 1.8% sequentially. The average revenue per household is total consumer wireline revenues divided by the average monthly households in service, which is driven by AT&T U-verse services. The marked AT&T's 14th consecutive quarter with year-over-year growth in wireline consumer revenues per household. For the wireless data revenues, there was a 23.4% growth. Also, the fourth consecutive quarter of year-over-year growth in wireline consumer revenues driven by AT&T U-verse services.
Well, thank you, Cameron, for all of the wonderful information you gave us on AT&T's second quarterly report. We hope to see you back again sometime soon.
Thanks for having me on, Chelsea. Hope the weather's nice and sunny over where you're at.
This is a Cameron Lynn production. All rights reserved.